So we spent several days in Kanchanaburi. We saw a series of museums before eventually we moved on to Hellfire Pass, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we had a series of reflections as we learnt more about the spaces and as we read more.
Yeah.
And so the first question I had was to you, Tim. What do you think about this notion that in the bridge over the River Kwai site and in the museums around there, there's this possibility of a transnational memory which brings together Thai and Australian prisoners of war, tourists or pilgrims or their relatives. It sort of involves cultural dialogue and involves interaction and shared history.
I think that's one of the themes that academics have been trying to grapple with and understand the degree to which it's aligning along sort of memories being constructed along very distinct national boundaries, or there is that international dialogue or sense of even ideas of reconciliation. But of course, what complicates it there's a number of factors that really, really complicate that. Firstly, Thailand has an ambiguous history towards or understanding or perspective towards that, towards the railway itself and the wider histories of World War II, which I'm sure you're going to talk about shortly. So you're not actually reconciling with, Australians are not actually reconciling themselves with Thailand itself. It's obviously it's a reconciliation of potential towards the Japanese. And so where do the Japanese come into the story? In very, very marginalised ways in which they're represented through themselves. So they're being represented by museums that have been put on by Thais, or in the case of Hellfire Pass, by an Australian team. And we understood there was an approach by the Japanese government for collaboration and cooperation in that, and that was declined, and obviously for understandable reasons. But that then means that the narrative and the ways in which the story is being presented are done by particular agents and actors in this theatre of memory. And it is a kind of theatre of memory in the sense that you've got multiple countries involved, and only some of those are participating and having the diplomatic capacities to do that. So you've got asymmetries of memory going on and imbalances of that. So I think it's quite a complicated landscape in ways in which who gets to tell the story, what stories are told, and then how that, and obviously, therefore, who gets remembered. And we've got a very, very distinct kind of imbalance in statistics here, which I'll come back to.
Well, that was the thing I was going to ask you, because we learned a bit more about the popular culture aspects of this. Colonel Kobori and the Kugam film.
Sunset
over Chaophraya.
That's right.
And I was very struck by how, when we first we went there, we had a sense there may be some kind of connection between that very popular film and the site. But we discovered there really is. And in fact, do you remember we walked over the bridge? We went down one side, and there was literally the Kobori and the Japanese and her Thai
Angsumarin
done like a like a seaside
thing,
fun face where you put your faces in.
Exactly.
Right.
Which made that connection for us.
Right.
But what did you think in terms of how much has this really changed because of this dramatic increase in domestic tourism, domestic tourism, and what are Thai tourists looking for or experiencing when they come to the river?
Yeah, so in 2012, actually the Tourism Authority of Thailand and trying to promote domestic tourism more because of more middle class, for example. The whole Thailand, So they have like different themes, and so Kanchanaburi is one of them, and so I think 2011 is flooding, so we suffer a lot from international tourist arrivals, and so therefore in 2012 the government said we need to promote more tourism among domestic tourists, and so use it as a way of life. So traveling is a way of life to discover their history, their past, etc. And so you can see it here too in Kanchanaburi. There's a lot of companies organizing tour to River Kwai. Interestingly, the bridge of River Kwai is not. If you go to Kanchanaburi as a Thai domestic tourist, the Bridge of River Kwai is maybe secondary attraction, not the main attraction. So they go there because of like nature, relaxing, the floating experience of singing karaoke along the river, etc. And so the Bridge of River Kwai is just one of the itinerary. This is according to the people I talked to during a few days when we were there.